Hey everybody, it's the Buko Boys.
What's up? Howdy ho!
It is episode 39.
I'm DVO,
And I'm Dale.
and we're gonna start another episode. We had a very adventurous weekend.
Yep, we went on a ghost adventure.
Yes, we did. So we went to Raventhorn Manor Tattoo Shop in downtown Salt Lake City.
Yep,
It was awesome.
and pretty haunted.
It was pretty haunted. So we're gonna talk about our experiences in a little bit, but we're excited to talk about that. It's gonna be we're gonna have fun talking about this. It was a pretty interesting night, to say the least.
Right, yes it was. So, first thing we'll talk about is something else we did over the week was check out the new release of, or actually, we'll talk about that next. We'll talk about a new trailer for the new Terminator movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Terminator movie, and like what you mentioned, we went and saw the new Aladdin movie. So Terminator, what's the name of this actually?
It's called Dark Fate.
Dark Fate. So what I heard was that, I don't know if it was the producers, the writers, the directors, I'm not sure, but I guess the goal of this is basically eliminate, because this would be the sixth Terminator movie, so eliminate 3, 4, and 5 and make this new one number 3, basically.
Yeah,
That's the rumor I'm kind of hearing. So just avoid, what was number 3? The woman Terminator.
Right.
You said Rise of the Machines.
I think that was the Rise.
And
of the
then number
Machines.
5 was the Christian Bale playing John Connor in the future.
Or no, that would have been 4.
Yeah, sorry, number 4. And then number 5 was Emilia Clarke in the
Genesis.
They went
Time travel.
way in the
Well, the last 2 movies were time travels.
yeah, in the past. So this one basically is saying, hey, let's just make this number 3. And I got confused because when I was watching the trailer, I thought this character was actually Emilia Clarke because she had like this brunette, kind of really pretty looking face. I was like, oh, is that Emilia Clarke? Are they gonna? What's gonna happen? But it's not. It's a totally different character. So
Okay, so what I'm gathering is the 4th and 5th movies were kind of time travel movies, so they didn't consist of going in chronological order. So are they saying they're wiping out Terminator 3 as if it never happened, and this is replacing Terminator 3?
no, this just comes after number 2. This is just coming after number 2.
Oh yeah, but so did number 3, right?
They just say this is coming after number 2. I don't know.
All right.
I'm not reading their mind here. I'm just telling you what they're saying.
Okay, so maybe number 3 turns into number 4 then.
Or just pretend like it never happened, like the Halloween movies.
Yeah, just pretend that 3 never happened.
So yeah, so this is taking place, and what you do is you see Linda Carter. Is that her name, Linda Carter?
No, that's Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Sarah Connor is the
Right.
character.
And played by
I don't know what her name is.
this Linda Carter. I'm punching you.
It is.
It's not Linda Carter. I think about it.
I'm gonna look at the story.
Come on, IMDb. Pull up.
This one doesn't tell her name right away.
Hamilton? Is that it?
I think it is Hamilton.
It is.
Linda Hamilton.
Yes, okay. So Linda Hamilton makes an appearance in it. And she's a silver fox.
Well, she looks the same, just with gray hair.
She looks really toned, though. She's ripped still.
Oh, yeah, she always has been ripped. In the other movies, when it showed her in her older age, she was still, like, working out and being all ripped.
How about when she was in Beauty and the Beast?
Oh, the TV show.
Yeah. She
That's
was
right.
ripped. But, no, she got ripped for Terminator 2 because she was in a psych ward.
Right.
And she was doing like a ton of pull-ups and push-ups, and that's when she got really ripped, and she got really ripped for that movie. And anyways, in this one, she's also really toned, looks good, but obviously much grayer. I don't know what year this is taking place. I don't know if it's taking place like this year.
Yeah,
2019,
I'm not
maybe?
sure either. It looks like it's about this time.
Because when did it come out? 90s, right? I mean, it came out 80s, 90s.
I want to say 80s.
Now I want to look at that too.
I bet you it was mid 80s.
So Terminator, oh my god, I didn't know there was this much of a gap. So Terminator, the first one came out in 84.
84.
T2, 91.
Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't know there was such a big gap. Because Terminator was a hit. Interesting, okay.
You don't remember that?
No, I didn't realize that. I mean, I remember when T2 came out. I remember because I was a little acorn in elementary school. But Okay, interesting. So I'm guessing it's taking place present day, and there's another Terminator, but she's like a hybrid. It looks like
she looks like she's more. Yeah, she said she's human.
Yeah, she says she's human. So we're like Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, he's an android, and then he like adapts to the human feelings.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's aged now. So it shows Sarah Connor, going to him.
Well, I think they always use organic material.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder if it's because it's actually flesh.
Yeah, they're always made out of organic
So
material.
It is aging, I guess.
And he also had a scar. So yeah, Schwarzenegger makes an appearance. He has a scar, so that shows too, like, he's done battle and it's not healed because it's, aged.
Okay.
So, and then, so there's another type of Terminator, but she seems like more human turning into android. I can't tell. It's kind of interesting.
And then there's still those other from Terminator 2, the liquid molten metal. Yeah,
that's the main bad guy here.
But she got the power to blow those sons of bees up.
Yeah, like some
pow pow mother.
Like some big bazooka type of thing.
Yeah, she had like a bazooka.
That's what Sarah Connor had. She pulled out some big old bazooka and
blew it to smithereens.
How do you like these Terminator movies?
They can be corny at times.
Yeah,
but
I guess any sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's still entertaining. I like it. I'll definitely watch this one.
I want to see.
I'm a Schwarzenegger fan.
I am. I've actually liked all these Terminator movies. I've liked them. I know they've had their critics' opinions on them, but I've actually liked all the Terminator movies. But I like the sci-fi.
Well, the first and second were definitely by far
really good. Yeah.
3
I could have done without.
Yeah, 3 it's very forgettable.
Yeah,
I can't remember shit about number 3 besides it was a woman wearing like red leather.
Yeah. You know how she got that red leather? It was like the same. It was like a Schwarzenegger thing. She this biker.
Yeah, she sees this place and goes in and takes it. But yeah, the other ones. Actually, the one with Christian Bale, that one was pretty good.
I really did like that one.
That one, because it was completely different. It was them going during the whole war of all this happening, and that one was good. I like that one because it was different.
Even though Christian Bale went off on the set crew.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that.
That was what it was.
He was flipping out. I haven't heard that for years.
Yeah, that's
I remember that. That's hilarious.
Calling them all like incompetent.
Yeah, he's losing his shit on everybody.
Yeah. How about that last one, Genesis with Emilia Clarke? How'd you like that one?
That one was kind of forgettable.
It was. I did like it, but yeah, you're right.
I don't think Emilia Clarke was the perfect fit for Sarah Connor.
Yeah, I know what they were trying to do, capitalize on her Game of Thrones stardom.
Was that after Game of Thrones had started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I didn't.
You weren't watching it at that time.
No, I didn't get into it until
the beginning of Game of Thrones, so she was already. Yeah, they were capitalizing for sure.
Okay, because I don't think she made a good fit for that. I thought the movie was entertaining.
Yeah.
It was an entertaining movie, but it was very forgettable.
Yeah. So this one, but I did, like I said, I did like every movie. I mean, I could have went without some of them.
I'll watch it,
but I'm gonna watch this one. This one looks exciting.
Yeah, I like the way this looks.
Linda Hamilton coming back, playing her Sarah Connor role. I'm excited for it. There's an appearance by Schwarzenegger. I just have a feeling they're gonna collab with this new machine and fight this evil molten lava liquid one. So. And there's probably gonna be more of them.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of them.
So I'm gonna watch this one. I'm thinking it's taking place today.
It looks like
one,
it is.
So
I'm sure once we get more trailers, we'll get more ideas.
It's funny how we use Terminator to talk about the rise of the machines and how we're so plugged into electronics today, and we keep talking about they're gonna be self-aware and lock us in our houses. And,
Skynet.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And everybody talks about like the AI.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we just did this new AI that does this. And they're like, oh yeah, so what's the new name of your company? Skynet?
Yeah. They're self-aware. I wouldn't mind if my house came alive. To do stuff. Hey, make
as
me
long
a
as
pizza.
it stayed under my control.
Make me a pizza, coffee or something.
As long as we could have our technology slaves stay slaves and not get smarter than us.
Or have emotions.
Yeah, no emotions.
Don't get attached to me. I'm going to upgrade you eventually.
Change your programming so you can stop loving me.
So a new Terminator movie. Looking forward to that. Oh, did you see the release date? I didn't catch the release date.
No, I didn't.
I bet you I can. Still have it up here. November this year.
Oh, that's gonna be a while.
1st.
So I'm sure we'll have 3
more trailers.
Three full trailers till then.
And then we got some popcorn and watched Aladdin.
Yes, we did.
How did you like Aladdin?
Okay, I loved the movie,
yes.
and I was pretty excited about some parts that when it played, and I liked some of the things too that they changed up a little bit.
Okay.
But I wasn't a fan of Jafar, the character who played actor who played Jafar's character. I would
agree with you on that. Not necessarily. Yeah, maybe it's the actor.
I thought if they would have stayed true to his characteristics and his persona, being a little taller, more sinister look on his face.
Yeah.
Just more of a villain.
Do you have an idea of who would have been a good person for that role?
Yeah.
Who?
And as long, I would have liked to have seen him try it too. So the actor who's always in a lot of Adam Sandler movies, and in Mr. Deeds, he's the one that goes very sneaky.
Oh, that's a good one, brother.
Because he has the look, right?
I'm gonna look it up while you keep mentioning it, but
I think someone like him would have played a better role. What do you think? You think that?
That would have been a good one. Yeah,
he could do the look, right?
Yeah,
I think he would have played a better look, or somebody else.
John Turturro.
Is that who he is?
Yes,
John Turturro. Okay.
And he was on Transformers.
Yeah, Transformers.
Still trying to figure it out.
So that guy is who I would like to have seen play Jafar, or just
that's good. That is a good one. He does have that look.
Or somebody else other than the guy who played him. That guy that played him, he sounded like a dweeb. He doesn't sound evil.
Okay.
He sounds like, oh yeah, this guy's telling the truth.
Kind of whiny, I thought.
Yeah, a little whiny, a little crybaby-ish.
A little needy.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like a good villain. But I didn't like him, and I didn't like some of the parts where they were singing, when Aladdin was singing, and he just wasn't like doing much acting out, and I almost felt like I was just watching a play at that part.
Yeah, so when you told me that, I was thinking, yeah, there's parts where I feel like you almost think he's gonna look in the camera and sing to you.
Yeah,
because they're just like zoning on him, and he's just singing.
Yeah, and he's just saying the words without actually acting out some of the things he's saying.
Versus being on the carpet and then he's talking with singing to Jasmine and looking and pointing at things.
Yes, yeah, even on all of those parts too. And that was another thing, is when they sang A Whole New World. I was expecting a powerful ballad. It was going to sound fantastic. And it ended up just sounding like a mediocre version of the song, just sang by couple of people that know how to sing good. I mean, it didn't stand out to me. It didn't like make me go, oh hell yeah. I was kind of like, aw,
like, oh, a whole new world.
Yeah, but I was kind of
left be in this world.
I want to be in a whole new world with you. But I was left going, come on guys, make me go, oh. It wasn't making me like excited for it. It just kind of was just like a normal version of the song.
And I was okay with that. I didn't even think about it until you mentioned that. And then I said, yeah, I could see it. But at the time watching it, I was okay with it at the time watching it. But I see what you mean, since it was the highlight of the cartoon movie.
At least I think so.
Yeah. So I can see what you're saying. For me, the parts that I didn't like was there was parts where Will Smith playing the genie, and the blue genie version, because obviously he'd go from, oh, I can look normal, like I can look human, and he turns into Will Smith. Mm. But when he's playing the blue genie, there's parts that look really CGI'd.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, it's kind of really CGI there.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Really CGI. But overall, I did like Will Smith as Genie. It's hard to capitalize on Robin Williams or do that. Be the shadow of Robin Williams. He's definitely in the shadow of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, like our kids, they've seen Aladdin, but like maybe some of the really young kids who don't know that maybe the first one. We're adults. We're comparing. Everyone has got to be comparing him to Robin Williams. I think I am. Because it's kind of like the genie became Robin Williams. Instead of Robin Williams playing the genie, it was almost like the genie
was a representation of Robin Williams, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
So with Will Smith playing, it was almost like Will Smith isn't playing the genie. Will Smith is playing
a genie.
No, he's playing Robin Williams.
Oh.
So he's kind of like tapping into Robin Williams instead of tapping into the genie almost.
Oh, okay. Well, how did you think? Because I did think he did good. After me just saying, yeah, he's in the shadow of Robin Williams, I do think he did a good... I think he did a good job.
I think Will Smith did a great job.
Yeah.
And one thing I was kind of like thinking I was going to start cringing at was in the beginning when he's telling the story. I thought he was going to start doing some really horrible accent. And I was going to go like
Middle Eastern accent?
Yes. Okay. I was expecting him to do a really horrible accent. And I was going to go, oh God, please stop. But he didn't. And I was like, okay.
Voice, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, he did good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he did a good job. And there's definitely, you know...
And it was him singing.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, you could tell because it wasn't good.
Yeah, he's not the best singing.
Kind of like when The Rock had to do singing for Moana. It's not good, but it's actually them.
Yeah, but it's not terrible.
I think The Rock's was terrible.
In Moana?
Yeah. I think that was pretty terrible.
I was okay with it.
I thought it was pretty cringy.
But I think because I'm used to it because I used to watch some of his wrestling and he'd sing in the ring sometimes.
Yeah, you know what to expect.
So like, yeah, maybe.
But to be like this is going to be a Disney movie. You know, Disney movies are known for their scores.
Yeah, you're right.
And throwing in somebody who doesn't know how to sing into a score it's risky. But they pulled it off. Well, I don't think they pulled it off with The Rock, but Will Smith pulled it off.
For me, I thought it was pretty equal. I mean, I think Will Smith has, I think he's a good rapper. That's his roots. Singing, not so much.
Yeah.
Not the best.
But he was carrying his notes. I'm pretty sure he had to go through some vocal classes.
But now that you say that, though, Robin Williams did a really good job singing, though.
Yeah, he did.
Now, that I think about it, Robin Williams is not known for his singing. Like, he did a pretty good job.
Well, that song, it was the singing in, what part? It was the beginning of when he's telling the story and starts singing about
how the lamp works?
Yeah. Well, no, not how the lamp works. When he tells the story and he starts singing the Arabian Nights.
Oh, gotcha.
That. When he's singing that part. The part where he's doing Robin Williams' song, being the genie, that part's kind of easy to sing because you're kind of just yelling out the words. You're not really carrying notes or anything. Where you're going Arabian Night. That's carrying a note.
Like that?
Yeah. But yeah, so Will Smith is actually singing the song.
Yeah.
But I thought he did pretty good. So I can't remember where we were going with that now.
Just him coming out of the shadow of Robin Williams.
Oh yes. Yeah. So I thought he did a pretty good job, and it was almost like he wasn't taking some of the things that Robin Williams said, and he didn't repeat it verbatim. He kind of said it his own way.
Right.
But he did kind of play the genie pretty good. I thought he still carried on the whole Robin Williams persona, and didn't make me go, "You'll never be Robin Williams," you know?
Right. And he had his own flavor to it, where he said, "I'm gonna fantabulize you" or something like that. That was just something. That's a Will Smith type of word or something. And so I like that he brought his own twist of his character to it. And I did like the movie. I thought they followed the story of the cartoon movie really well.
One thing that I think they changed, though, I think they changed the end of the movie.
We don't need to talk about it here because we don't want spoiler alerts, but...
well, if you haven't seen Aladdin yet, the cartoon anyway.
Oh, are you talking about the cartoon?
Yeah,
okay.
Well, in the end of the cartoon,
okay,
the Sultan goes, "Well, I'm the Sultan. I can make law. I can do whatever I want. So if you want to marry a street rat, marry a street rat." And so she's like, "I love street rats."
I'm all about that life.
So she marries a street rat.
Wait, they get married?
I ruined. Spoiler alert. But in this one, he doesn't say that.
Right.
He doesn't say, "I'm the Sultan. I can change the laws. I can do what I want." He says,
"You're the princess. You can do whatever you want."
Yeah, but in other words, right?
Yeah. So you liked it?
I liked it. I
Thumbs
still
up?
like it. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It was good.
It was good. I would have liked to have changed Jafar. And I would have told Aladdin, when you're singing, show me some more acting. And then when you guys are doing your duet together, singing The Whole New World, make it powerful, damn it. Because like I was just yesterday, I was watching a YouTube clip of a son and his mom doing the duet together of singing The Whole New World.
Okay.
And it sounded better than the movie.
Okay.
And I was kind of like, even these guys did it better than the movie. But in the soundtrack, they have Zayn singing it. Zayn is some other girl. I can't remember who.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
But that sounds better. That even sounded way better.
I haven't heard that version yet.
I wish they would have just used that version for the movie.
It would have went off really good. It's a hit, I know that. How much in love did you fall in love with Jasmine?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought she did a good job as Jasmine.
She did a good job. She, like there's parts where she's like mad at Jafar, and she did a good job like acting out, and I don't think she's done a ton of movies. I know she was the Pink Ranger. We talked about that. She was the Pink Ranger in that Power Ranger flop that came out a couple years ago, which I knew would do terrible, and it was. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
It was terrible.
It wasn't the best.
But she did a good job there, and yeah, she did really good here, and I just kept checking her out.
Well, I wish I was at Agrabah.
So yeah, it was good. So we recommend that you guys go see it.
Yep, just like the cartoon. Oh, you know what else was different too? The handmaid part.
Oh.
That whole thing was all new. So
yeah, where Jasmine has her handmaid, she's very interactive with her.
And they kind of do the whole Star Wars things where they change place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You guys got to watch it to know what we're talking about.
But anyways, so we get into the paranormal now.
Yeah, you got an update from White Feather where we talked about that. We did in Santa Quinn just a few episodes ago, not too long ago.
So Loretta sent me an update of what had happened in their store.
So again, this is that store in Santa Quinn next to the family tree. And they sell a lot of like stones and gems, not like precious gems, but like stone wise. What else?
So what happened was, I guess a couple customers had walked in. A lady that comes in regularly and her mother.
Probably after hearing our episode, I'm sure.
We're pretty famous out there in Santa Quinn. But anyways, so they came in. From what I gathered, from what Loretta had told me, and sounds like they both kind of picked up on spirit activity in there.
Right. And
the mom of the lady started channeling the boy Jonah that I had seen, and then when Caden went in there, Caden actually said his name right away. He was like, "Okay, you know that boy you seen? His name's Jonah." So anyways, when this lady came in there, she says that she's a medium. Also, she tapped into him, and some of the things that she was saying about him and his life were that he and his grandfather lived on that land.
Okay.
They owned that land. It was just the two of them. And he loved and respected his grandfather very much. His grandfather taught him everything, including hard work. When his grandfather died, the land rightfully belonged to him as the only survivor, even though he was just a teenage boy. Some bad men wanted the land, and they tried to force him to sign it over. So they ended up beating him and dunking his head in water to try to force him to give it up. He wouldn't, and he ended up dying from the injuries. He didn't even live to see his 16th birthday.
Oh.
So even after his death, the judge would not give the land over to those men. So his spirit was glad about that, and his spirit stays there to kind of protect the land. And he's afraid and worried that we will do to him what others had done to him. And or actually he's scared he's afraid and worried that we will do to him what we did to the others and make him leave. So the others is when Tim went in there and kicked out that negative energy that was in there. So he's afraid that we're going to try to kick him out, which we're not. But he likes what they're doing with the place, and he would like to stay there. But the medium actually wasn't able to confirm that his name was Jonah because she ended up losing contact with him when Loretta had asked if she could get his name. But she just remembers the name Jonah from when Caden had said that when we were there. But the one thing that correlates with that whole story that's pretty interesting was when I had seen him in my head, I seen him dripping water from his head.
Yeah, looking kind of downward.
Right.
And his hair really wet.
Right. And that kind of makes sense if they were dunking his head in water and trying to, like, you know, torture drowning, I guess.
Yeah.
It
does make total sense. So that was a really interesting update.
So thanks, Letter, for giving us that update. That's pretty interesting. That
was very interesting.
So yeah, I would like to go back there and investigate more.
Actually, got chills.
I actually did too. Right as you said that, I was getting them. we're so in touch with each other.
Touching. So yeah, pretty cool.
So cool stuff.
Cool.
That was in Santaquin at the White Feather Rocks.
Yeah. So go check it out. They got a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool items. They also have a massage bed if you want a massage. I think they do Do they do readings in there? I can't remember.
Well, they have somebody that does massages, and I think she also practices Reiki.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure everything. You can go to their website and find out on their Facebook page, and yeah.
So the next one we got, and we're gonna probably spend most of the episode talking about this, was we got an invite from Raventhorn Manor. This is a tattoo shop in downtown Salt Lake.
Yeah. And Jake owns that. And so Jake's the one who...
his name is Jake?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so he had... I've been talking to him. And so we
look at the address, so keep going.
It was 145 South and...
145 South, 400 East.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good memory.
Good one. So if you're looking to get some ink done, check it out. It's pretty cool. It's an old house. It's over 100 years old, this house.
Yep.
And why don't you kind of tell us what... So they reached out did they reach out to us? Or?
Well, I actually hit him up first.
Okay.
Because he had mentioned on his Instagram page that they have a haunted place.
Oh, okay. So kind of tell how we got connected. I'll kind of walk through like a tour that we did when we met up with Jake, and then we can go into the evidence.
So when he had mentioned that, I just asked him if he had any stories that he could share with us that we could use for the podcast. And he actually said, why don't you just come investigate?
That's awesome.
And I said, you got it, bud. So we came down there. We finally planned it all out, and that was this last Friday night. And we finally got to meet him, and we went on a tour. He gave us a little tour.
Yeah, he gave us a little tour. He couldn't stick around, unfortunately. We were like, hey, man, come investigate with us. But he had to take off, and he left us the keys, so that was really cool of him. He was a really cool guy. And the whole, like I said, the whole house, 100 years old, is actually a really good-looking house. They've done a good job doing some remodeling. They're still doing some. And, man, it looks really, really cool in there, the way they have it set up. And I like that they're capitalizing on this kind of hauntedness of the house. Because it definitely is, guys. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, we meet up with him, and he gives us a little tour. We start off on the main floor. There's a little lobby. Obviously, this was a house. So this was probably the front room, family room at one point.
And they've used it for other things. Like, they've used it for probably, like, rented it out as an apartment and as offices. Rented out sections for offices.
It's been used for a long time. But probably as it was built, it was probably used as a family room.
Yeah, I think the original, when it was originally built, was like a polygamous home or something.
Could have been. I mean, beautiful home, beautiful. So, there's a hallway right in the front. There's also some stairways up. But on the main floor, what they've got is like this, like I said, this front room, living room. They're using it as a lobby, which makes sense. Then they have a couple of rooms. These were bedrooms, and they're using them as their rooms where they meet with their customers and get work done. A little open area, too, by a fireplace. Maybe another type of family room at one point, I assume. Yeah. And then a bathroom, and they're using these other bedrooms as offices and stations, workstations. Upstairs, and man, were these stairs noisy.
Yeah, they're really creaky stairs.
Yeah, they're 100 years old, and I think they're all original. I think everything's original in there, floor-wise. Makes sense. I like it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, go up there, and we have, right away when you get to the top of the stairs, 3 rooms. One's really small. One is a little bit larger. Jake's been hearing some things. We'll get into that. Another room. We got some good evidence in this next room. Then another little open area. Probably like another family room, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like another family room.
And then we have a bathroom. And then more stairs. Yeah, another bedroom. You're right. And they use this as a guest room for guest tattoo artists. Then another stairs that go up into the attic. At the top of the attic is a big open landing. Not a lot of room because that's where you get the peak of the house roof. So not a lot of room in that landing area. Then there's a doorway that goes into the actual attic where when you think attic, this is what it looks like, right? Yeah. When you think attic, open space there. Then we went down again to the main floor, went outside and went to the basement. So there's a basement where they keep the heater, the furnace, a lot of things like that. Jake feels really spooked out down there. The floor is dirt.
Yeah, just all dirt floor.
All dirt flooring. And that's in that basement. All right, so anyway, he gives the tour. We kind of chit-chat a little bit, and then he has to take off. He gives us the keys, tells us how to set the alarm and mess with the lights. And we put up our kind of like a home base, I guess you'd say, kind of in their little work office. And we went lights out.
Yeah, we pretty much turned off most of the lights.
We turned off everything but where we kept like we had our Coke, and then we put our equipment down because we're not going to carry everything with us, so we put our equipment down, and so we just left the light on there, and we left the whole house pitch black. And we started off on the main floor. It just made sense. We're like, hey, the main floor, let's just kind of sit here. We sat in the lobby first. Didn't get much. We had you felt, oh no, I take that back. You felt something touch your hand.
Yeah, when we were sitting there, I felt something kind of like a finger lightly stroke the back of my hand.
Like flirting with you?
I don't know if flirting with me, but it was just more of just like a...
So tell me, because I've never felt that. Does it feel like me doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
not like
it's
a
really
feather,
not like a feather. So imagine you're just sitting there. Don't look at me, or don't look at me.
Put my hand out.
So imagine as you're just sitting there talking and just being normal, and all of a sudden you just feel something like that.
Okay, interesting.
And I mean, it's very distinct. It's not like, oh, the wind could have just
there's a little bit of pressure.
Okay. And it's sometimes when you get grabbed, it almost feels like it's just really light, like touch, like it's light, sitting there like that, and then like a light squeeze. Like sometimes it's slow, and then it releases, and it's just gone.
Interesting. So it was just for like that one split second?
Yep. Okay. Just real quick, just a light finger just going down the back of my hand, and it was gone. Yeah,
when you were saying that, I was snapping some pictures. Nothing came up. Nothing came up in any of the pictures, actually. But we did get some EVPs we'll talk about.
Well, there was nothing that you could see with the naked eye.
Right, you're right.
But things with our friend Brandy, who she can see things, and so she was able to validate a few things.
Yeah, you were forwarding pictures to her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in that downstairs area, we didn't get too much. Just there was the chair in the second room.
Yeah, second room from the front room. Every time you sat down in that chair, our ghost meter. So if you're listening for the first time or don't know what the ghost meter is a device that picks up on energies.
Yeah, and it's a type of EMF, but it doesn't pick up on the almost like the EMF pollution, which would be like your cell phone. Like your cell phone opening it up and setting off a K2, it wouldn't set off the Ghost Meter Pro. The only times I've seen it wig out in weird situations is when we're in a location with really bad electrical grounding and the EMFs in the area are just off the charts.
Yeah, because it picks up on that. That's the type of stuff.
So that's the only time that I've seen EMFs actually disrupt it, like EMF pollution anyways, disrupt it in any way. Normally it just picks up only on spirit energy.
Yeah. So what it does is it has a needle, and then it's a gauge. So if you were like slowly walk up to like a electrical circuit, you'll start seeing the needle slowly start moving as you get closer.
Not necessarily that. It'll actually just spike. Once you get real close to it, it'll just spike. The needle will just move over to it.
Well, for visual, just think of that, how it works. Or if you walked right up to it, it would just spike.
And actually, the best way to think, because I would do this to demonstrate it, is I would use a magnet. And I'd put a magnet in front of it, and as soon as I touched it with a magnet, the needle would spike. So pretty much only electromagnetic, certain things would set it off.
So what we gauge as is if something comes into proximity, it will light up the device, and we try to communicate with just using yes/no questions, saying, hey, if you can get close, you'll spike this needle. Make it spike once for the answer to be yes, and make it spike twice for the answer to be no. That's kind of what we try to do. I don't know how much validity we can put behind these devices, but they're just tools to help us.
Does it pick up on spirit energy? Yes. Do the spirits always give you the right answers with yeses and nos?
Do they know how to use it properly?
Do they know how? Yeah, not always. And I can usually tell when I'm actually talking to somebody that knows how to, that's actually giving me right answers and they're actually wanting to engage with conversation, and the ones that are actually just messing around with it, making it go off and then taking off and going, that was weird. You know, so you can kind of tell which ones are actually, you're talking to somebody with answers or just talking to somebody just kind of messing with the device. But
and every time you sat in this chair, it'd go off. As soon as you'd get up, it stopped. And I wasn't moving. I was just staying still in one area of that room, and you would walk around. We'd walk around. Nothing. As soon as you sit down in that chair, spikes.
And this is weird.
Every time.
I would be holding the device as I'm sitting there, and it's going off, and it's doing weird things. And I set it down.
And it was interactive with us.
Yeah.
Every time you were in that chair, it was interactive.
And I would set it down, and it would go away, and it wouldn't go off. And then I'd grab it, it'd go off again. I'd stand up, and it would stop.
Yeah.
And then I'd sit back down, and it'd go off. I would set the thing down next to me, right where I was holding it, but I'd just set it down and stop touching it, and it would stop again. But only when I'm engaged with that chair and I'm holding the device.
Yeah.
I could be sitting in the chair not holding the device and the device doesn't go off. I had to be sitting in the chair and holding the device for it to go off.
Yeah.
And then later on in the night when we came back down to that spot, it wasn't doing it anymore. It was the weirdest thing. But when I had taken a picture of it and I had sent it to Brandy in that area, she never got back to me on that if there was a spirit there. She didn't get back to me if there weren't spirits in pictures, so I just figured there wasn't anything in that picture.
Okay.
But it was such a weird event. I mean, it doesn't necessarily that it wasn't something there wasn't in there with us. It just probably wasn't in the picture at the time. But I didn't count that as a spirit, as one of the spirits that we encountered. But it was very very cool.
As we left that room, we went down the hallway a little bit further in this open area where they have a fireplace. We didn't get much activity going on there. However, Jake told us a story that he hung up a clock. And he hung up this clock and he kind of tugged on it to make sure it was stable. And he verified it was pretty stable. Moments later, I don't know how much time had passed, but moments later, they hear this loud crash. They come out, look over, and the clock is on the ground.
Right, and this was a clock that had to be like kind of lifted up and off of the way it was mounted.
Yeah, the way it was mounted had to be like lifted up and off. So,
and when we were in that area, we were using the S box.
Yes,
and we were asking if there was some names in there, and it was just kind of spitting off a lot of words, but it said the name like Jeff and Rick, and did say a few other things, but it was hard to make it out. But it just kind of started blurting off words like instantly when we asked for names. So, I mean, it made sense later with how many spirits were in that place.
Yes.
And then later we went upstairs.
Let's see, was there anything else back there? No.
No.
They had an office that they didn't want us entering because they had a lot of personal stuff in there. There's a bathroom, but nothing was... No. You got spooked out, though, going into that bathroom.
Oh, yeah. I opened that bathroom door.
Because the bathroom was right next to the stairs.
Yeah, so there's kind of like the wall that kind of walls off the stairs that kind of goes up the ceiling. So as I open the door and I open it inwards...
Again, we're in pitch black.
Yeah. Open it inwards, the reflection off the light, or off the wall that was right in front of my face. Because when you open the door inwards, the slanted wall is right in front of your face. And so that white light reflection was right in my face as I opened that door. And I was like, whoa!
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it kind of threw me back for a second. And I had to adjust what that was, and seeing that it's just the wall.
But yeah, then we went upstairs. At the top of the stairs, there's a small room at the front of the house. It's very, very small.
Well, let's say this. When you get to the top of the stairs, you're facing the third bedroom.
Yeah.
You go to your left, that's another bedroom. That is where Jake does his tattooing, and just to the side of him is a really small room, not big enough
and it's
to
facing
do
the front of the house.
Yeah, looks more of like something, an area to store things. It's kind of a small room.
Yeah, really small room.
But in Jake's area that he does his tattooing, it sits right above the front of the house.
Yeah.
And it overlooks the front. And he would hear things above his room, which is the attic. And he said he would hear things like almost like drop in the middle of the attic and kind of hear something, footsteps and
scratching
noises. And, looking outside, I saw where the trees actually do touch the house and could make scratching noises onto the house.
Yeah.
But that doesn't explain the thuds or the footsteps or any of the weird, or the lights. He would have lights turning on or up there after he had just turned them off.
Yep.
So, I mean, that doesn't explain any of that. The trees don't explain that.
Yeah. True.
So, going in those rooms, didn't, those first two areas, like where Jake does, didn't really get much in there. But going into the next room, I actually would feel something standing.
Well, let's talk about that when we first walk in. I'm in front of you. We're walking into that room.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So I'm walking in
I was gonna before we talk about going into the room, I was gonna say,
go ahead.
Just looking at the entrance of that room from the bottom of the stairs, looking up, I automatically sensed something staring down at me.
Yeah.
Knowing, I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely know something's up there.
Obviously, I'm not as in tune with that type of stuff as you are, but I definitely felt like I was being watched a lot. Like eyes were on me. I'm getting goosebumps telling that. You can see on my saying that, reminding me, like I felt like I was constantly being watched. We were.
There was ghosts in like every corner of that house.
Like almost like every minute, I felt like I was being watched. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm getting more goosebumps now.
So just looking at that room, I was able to notice that there was a spirit looking down at us. I know that feeling all too well. Growing up in our house, that I knew where spirits were always staring at me in different parts of the house. So I know that feeling. I was able to verify that also later. But yeah, okay. So we walk into that room. As we first walk in, I'm behind you.
Yeah.
And I see a shadow. There's a light where light's coming in from the window and it's reflecting onto the wall. And I see a shadow and that reflection go across. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I just explained
I didn't see it.
So, I have my EMF detectors on.
So you say, wait, hold on. Don't move. I saw something. And I was like, well, it might have been me because I'm walking in. And then, I kind of rewind back outside the room and come in again. There's actually no reflection. The reflection is kind of deeper into the room.
Well, yeah, it's coming from the window that is facing
opposite the door,
and the reflection is coming onto the sidewall, so it's coming in at an angle. So we actually don't break that light at all.
Till way deeper into the room.
Until you actually go all the way across the room to that window.
So we kind of try to debunk it, and obviously it was coming in the opposite direction too.
Right.
It was actually coming towards the door where we're coming in from the door.
And the light that's being produced that comes into that room, there's nothing that could really create a shadow unless it was a giant bird flying through the trees, I guess.
Right.
But so as I walk towards where that shadow went,
which is in the deep corner,
in the far corner, the darkest corner, as I get there, it sets off the EMF. Yeah. And it spikes instantly. And it only spikes.
Like it went red and it was loud, beeping loud, and it went away. Yeah, really quick. Because you said, there you are. Because we really couldn't reenact that shadow. And you just we went deep in this corner. You went in that corner. It went off like crazy. And you said, there you are. And then it stops.
Right. And it left.
It left.
And then we were in there for a minute. We were doing some more trying to get EVPs, but we didn't really get anything else in there. So we had left. I remember we walked out of that room.
You're pretty enough to over on this side.
And then when we walked out of that room, I think that's when I got poked in the chest.
Was it right then?
I think we walked out of that room going into the next...
I stayed in the room. You went out in the hallway.
Yeah, and I was going to go into that area where we ended up doing another... S-Box session.
Yeah.
We did the S-Box session in that open area, and that's where we caught a EVP that we didn't actually catch at the time.
So tell me about this poke in the chest. Like you said, like you're because I remember I'm sitting in that room and I'm just sitting there and I'm by myself for a second because you walk out in the hallway. I'm just kind of sitting there just in the quiet, and you're like, man, I just feel like something poked me in the chest. Did it feel like me poking you in the chest?
Yeah. So imagine, but actually. What was distinct about this was imagine a little bit of a short, sharp nail.
Okay.
So imagine their fingernail being a little stubby but sharp. And as I'm walking, it just goes right into your chest like that.
Interesting. So you almost feel like you felt a finger and a nail.
And the nail.
Interesting.
So and it just kind of poked me and stopped. It just kind of put that pressure into my chest, kind of went in there, and I felt that you could feel everything.
So not necessarily a push, but just
not a
just
push,
a poke.
just a poke and then stop. But then from the poke, you could feel where everything was. The finger part and the nail part. You can know what side of the finger the nail was on, and you're just okay. Yeah, I just got poked.
Interesting.
And that's probably that lady that's standing there that we didn't know at the time. There's a lady that's standing there and then when we go into the next little open landing area, it's almost like another living room.
Yeah.
We sit down and start doing another EVP session. Well, we start doing the S-Box session.
So again, if you're not familiar, the S-Box stands for Spirit Box, and it's sweeping multiple stations. Yeah, so you just heard that for a brief second. That little clip you just heard was probably like five stations.
Yeah, about 5 or 6
So
stations.
that's how fast it's going, and then through that white noise, that's what it's creating is white noise. It's sweeping through white noise. If you hear anything longer than that like a milliblip, then it's going across multiple stations at once.
And I don't know why we didn't even hear this at the time this was recorded. We just kind of kept going as if it wasn't even said.
Yeah.
But I caught it when I was listening to the audio.
Here?
So this is just a 6-second audio. Okay. So you'll hear me asking if she can or if a spirit can say its name. You'll hear a little bit of quietness of just the scanning.
Don't say anything, but yeah.
And then you'll hear a name.
I want to hear what you guys. So just listen, guys, without us telling you what we think it is.
Can you try to tell us what your name is?
So you hear that it's a woman's voice. You can hear that right at the end there.
Right, and it when you hear it with headphones, it is super clear. Listening to it over a speaker, it's never as clear. And I'm actually gonna take this. You know what, my
case off.
Yeah, it's not the case. I think my speakers are gunked up too. But I'm gonna play this again one more time. You ready?
And then we'll narrow it in later on that part.
Can you try to tell us what your name is?
So maybe just do that section again. I want people to try to listen to it, guys. So definitely a woman's voice is going over. It's a second, right? Like it's probably swept over 10 stations.
There it is again. Ready?
That's good. So, you want to tell them what you think it is?
It sounds like Marissa.
Yeah.
Marissa or Melissa, but to me it sounds like she's saying Marissa.
So like I heard like the early ma, and I heard the end sa is like that middle part that I'm vague about, but I hear it.
So now listen to it again. You'll hear us go, "Can you tell us what your name is?" And it's the same voice going over multiple stations. So that's what's very interesting about it. Yeah. But so it's the same voice over multiple stations, and it's multiple syllables. So I'll play it again and listen for that, either Melissa or Marissa.
Can you try to tell us what your name is?
Right at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. That was pretty interesting.
So we caught that, and we didn't know till later when I started snapping pictures later, and I sent them over to Brandy, and she told us that yes, there was a woman standing there.
And she's standing like outside
at the doorway.
Hallway. Yeah, the doorway of that room at the top of the stairs.
Yep. So she can kind of watch people going in and out and up and down.
Yeah.
But there was also a male when I took a picture in that corner where I saw the shadow go in. There was also a male there.
Yeah.
But when we recorded this, we actually didn't hear it at the time. We didn't even realize it had said that. And then there was a bathroom that when we leave there to go towards the stairs that go up to the attic, there's a bathroom and a bedroom. In that bathroom, I knew instantly when I opened that door, there's something in that shower. So I snapped a picture of that. I sent that to Brandy, and she said, "Yep, there's a woman in the shower." So I don't know if that name that we got, even if that was a name of a spirit talking, if that was the woman from the entrance of the doorway or from the bathroom, because we were kind of in between the two.
Yeah, that landing was right in between both of them.
So, but that was interesting, and I figured I should mark that down. So
I mean, it sounded good. It sounded really good. We didn't hear it. with our bare naked ears.
With our bare ass ears.
So, and then we went up. We went in that guest room where they have their guests stay the night. If they have guests come in, we went in that room. Nothing was really going off in that room. So if you're a guest that's gonna go into Raventhorn, you're okay.
Yeah, that room's doesn't have.
Watch out for the bathroom. Though.
Yeah, the bathroom's got somebody chilling in there, just kind of watching you do your thing.
So then we went upstairs, right? Is that the point we went upstairs?
Yeah, so this is when we went up to the attic.
At the attic, we were in the landing.
And then...
got some hits on the ghost meter.
So when
K2s,
we went up there...
In fact, let me just say, the K2s, besides that, where we went in that room we just mentioned, where we saw that shadow cross, besides that, the K2s didn't do a lot.
It did later on at night.
At the very end, was it in the same room? It was in the same room.
No, it was downstairs on the main floor. Yeah. And it was next to that chair that was giving me things.
Yes.
So when we get upstairs to the attic, I wanted to do an Echo Box up there, an Echo Box session, which is similar to the Spirit Box, but it's using a different type of sweeping and different type of white noise.
Yeah,
it's not using
it's an app. It's an app that we downloaded.
Right. So it's not using AM, FM station white noise. It's using other white noise and pulling from sound banks of voices. But it's also, we're shuffling it and mixing it and putting it at different speeds to where it's not going to say words. It won't say words on its own. It'll have to be manipulated to actually say words. So when we were using the Echo Box upstairs in the attic, in the finished area, the landing, did capture something that we didn't capture at the time, that we didn't notice at the time. But it came through on the Echo Box, and it was a voice. It was right when we had started the Echo Box also, and the voice kind of sounds like it's questioning what this thing is that we're doing, because this is the first time this place had been investigated. So for spirits that were living there, this is new to them. This is the first time they're being talked to.
I don't think anyone's really trying to communicate with them.
Right, so this is the first time they're actually getting communicated with, or getting acknowledged. And at this moment, when we went up to the attic and we were kind of talking with it, this thing kind of seemed interested in this device.
And let me capitalize on what you just mentioned. I'm sure with how old this house is, I'm sure there was times where it was abandoned and not being used. And sometimes spirits, they like to kind of go where they're left alone.
Right.
So they could have wandered in there. They saw other spirits. They wandered in there, hung out. And they really had no business about that house. They just wandered on in.
True that.
Yeah.
So this was a recording in the attic. And this voice sounds like it's saying, "What is that thing?" So I'm going to play that for you. It's really short. It's really short audio. Oh, yeah. What's that thing about? What's that thing about?
And I have a hard time. Like it is weird for this device. Like that's a weird sound. Now, I'll remind you, using this Echo Box, we've used it multiple times. We've heard clear sentences. We've heard clear words come through before. This one is not as clear.
It was significant for what was happening at the time. We weren't getting anything, and it was a lot of just going,
exactly.
One syllable noises.
Right.
So when this came through, I'm surprised at the time we didn't even stop and say, "Hey, wait a minute, what was that?" We just kind of kept going as if it didn't even say anything. But listening to it with the headphones on, it was a lot more clear. And again, listening to it with headphones compared to listening to it with a speaker, it's night and day. But it definitely sounds like it was referring to us just starting this device and it never seeing or being interacted with before. And it almost sounds like it's saying, "What's this thing about?"
What do you guys think it says? It's like a couple some syllables.
Yeah, so it almost sounds like it's saying, "What's this thing about?" Or it could be saying, Beetlejuice. But
this was in the land. So the thing with the attic kind of almost split in two sections. There's like this landing area, and you put storage up there, and then there's a doorway that goes into a typical attic, wood framing.
Yeah, just unfinished.
Board on the ground that you walk on.
Yeah, pitched roof and plywood laying across the board so you can walk on in there.
We were kind of walking around because I was with Jake saying he's hearing scratching. I was trying to look for droppings, like mouse droppings or something like that, just to see, is there a mouse up here? Is there a bird in here? But I didn't catch any.
I could feel something up there right away, and when I took pictures of it, and even talking to other spirits before we got in there with using the Ghost Meter Pro with the yes and no questions, they were a couple different spirits that said that there was something bad up in the attic.
It's funny you say that. Again, we're not sure. These spirits have probably never been tried to communicate with before. No one was probably come in there and said, "Hey, come talk to us. We've got devices that we can use, and we're trying to pinpoint you and talk to you." They probably haven't experienced that, so it's hard to tell what they're trying to do with these devices. But yeah, you're right. There's some. It seemed like there was some that were saying, "Yeah, there's something up there. It's not nice. It's not," because you kind of felt it.
Yeah.
But there's other times where we're talking with some spirits on the ghost meter where it says, "No, leave it. It's fine. It's not bothering me." That's the answer it's giving.
Right. And then, with all the spirits that we were encountering in that house, all of them were like type 1s, which were just human spirits that were just, you're friendly. We're not doing nothing. We're just kind of here. We haven't crossed over. And, that's pretty much the spirits that were there, except in the attic where I was feeling something negative, and I had sent that picture to Brandy without telling her, anything about what's going on. She was able to say, yeah, there's a type 2 up there. So she said right away that there was a type 2, which is also a human spirit, but just a negative human spirit. They're just an asshole. Right. So, which would also make sense why he was hearing noises and hearing
upstairs.
Stuff up there.
Yeah, why Jake's hearing noises up in the attic.
And, the lights getting turned on after he had turned them off, because he's just an asshole. So...
Yeah, because that's what Jake's saying. Like, I swear I turned off a light up in the attic area. Because, again, they probably put storage up there. Come down the stairs, and I can see the light is on.
Yeah, and he said he didn't like going up there. He didn't like it up there.
Yeah.
He didn't like it down in the basement either. We went down in the basement after we went up and did that up in the attic.
Yeah, so we went all the way outside and then down in the basement.
We had to get to the basement from the outside. And it was just like a really small little landing when you first walk in. And then you walk beyond that through a doorway, and that is the furnace is right there, and it's almost like it's all dirt, and it's like a crawl space, like it's up about midway up the height of the room is dirt, and you have to crawl up there if you need to get back anywhere else. But there actually wasn't anything negative in there. There was spirits down in the basement. There was an adult and a couple children that were down there, but there was nothing negative. They were just type 1s.
Yeah, it was hard to do because the heater was on, the furnace was on.
We couldn't record much.
Yeah, we couldn't record much because it was really noisy from that. And it was really kind of distracting to kind of try to hone in and talk. It was really distracting. But, yeah, I didn't feel anything.
Yeah, I didn't feel anything negative. I did feel energy in there for sure. And then when we went down in there, I didn't feel anything negative. But after taking the pictures and sending them to Brandy and her saying, telling us what was in there. So anyways, I decided, okay, I'm going to kick this spirit out that's in the attic, the asshole. So I went up there, I got my spray that I make, and just using, my energy to force him out.
Talk about the spray a little bit. People listening, what is the spray you're talking about?
So it's just a smudge spray that I make myself, and it's got the essential oils of sage, which people would normally burn, but I'm not going to try to set off people's smoke detectors, burn sage. So I make a spray, and I can also add other cleansing properties to it. So like Palo Santo, which is another wood that people would burn to do cleansing. So I'll add that oil to it. I'll add a couple other things for protection and love, like lavender and lemon oils.
It does smell good when you spray it. It smells good.
Right? And then I actually add a bay leaf to that. And then I add black salt. And then actually making a new one where I'm crushing up orange selenite and putting that in it as well. Oh. And then another special ingredient. And I'm going to add a couple other oils to that.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's all just for protection. It's for cleansing. And so as I'm spraying that and I'm letting it know it can't be there anymore and it has to leave. So I banish it from that room, and then I salted the doorway so it can't go back in. And I used black salt, pink salt, and a mix of bay leaf, crushed bay leaf. And then I lined the doorway with that so it can't come back in. And then I kept pushing him out that back door, down the stairs, out that back door. And then I salted that back door to keep him out as well. So kicked him out. So I didn't let Jake know about that yet until when I met up with him the other day when I gave him back his keys.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you know, since you guys have been there, I haven't heard anything. And I usually hear things about, 3 times a week. And it had been almost a week.
Right.
So I haven't heard a thing. So kicked him out. And after I was done, after I had kicked him out, just to verify, I felt like he was gone. But just to verify, I snapped a couple pictures in there. And I sent them to her and asked her, hey, is he still up here? And she said, no, he's not up there anymore. So I didn't even tell her that I had done that. I just wanted to see if she could see him still.
And yeah, so that was that. And then where did we go after that? Is that where we went back?
After I kicked him out of the
back down to the
attic,
main floor, right?
we went back down to the main floor, and we were gonna investigate the main floor again, and then the second level one more time. So when we went down to the main floor in that same area where the chair was setting off the Ghost Meter Pro, it was no longer doing that. The weird thing was the K2 was sitting there next to the Ghost Meter Pro.
Yeah, on the table bench.
On the tattoo bench, and the K2 meter was starting to go off, and it had not gone off all night.
Right.
Nothing had set that thing off all night, and all of a sudden, right in that area, it was just going off. One little blip, which was the weirdest thing. Nothing was there to set it off, and it wasn't doing that weird thing anymore with the Ghost Meter Pro in the chair. But for some reason, it was just blipping, just one extra out of the 5 on that K2 meter.
Yeah. So how much do we went back upstairs?
We went back upstairs.
Why tell this? You want to mess with that a little bit?
Oh, the blinds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry if you're watching on YouTube, it got kind of dark, it got kind of dim on us, so we're going to adjust the
Clouds.
light. So we went back upstairs to that room again where we saw that shadow break the light from the window. Yeah, that's good. And so we went back up in there. We're sitting in there. We were sitting in there not too long. We just kind of felt like nothing. So I had the idea, let's go out in the hallway. I want to go in the hallway. Because when we were in that room, we kept hearing noises. We just kept hearing noises. And so, yeah, it was like, it's hard to tell. Is it the settling of the house? Is it something causing it? Is it electrical? Like, what is it? So I said, you know what, let's just
clicks.
Yeah, so I said, let's just go out in the hallway and just sit in the hallway. Because, again, this is the second floor. That hallway, the second floor, I think you can just kind of hear everything happening. Mm-hmm. That's how I was feeling. So I said, let's just sit out there. So we sit out there, and yeah, the ghost meter was going off. Something kept coming, interacting with it. And there's a point, because I just kept hearing things. It was kind of by that bathroom that you said you verified there was a spirit in that bathroom. Kind of feels coming from that down in that area. So anyway, we're sitting in there, in the hallway, and you hear a noise. We both heard it, and I think, but I think that might have been the heater, because I can kind of hear like some humming, like electric humming. So I said I think that was the heater turning on. Then we heard a couple more clicks. So we got those on audio, but all you would hear is a click. So I'm not playing it, but
yeah,
because you hear a click. There's one that we hear. We hear a click, and we're like, oh, you hear that? Yeah, we heard that. There's another one that you can hear, but we didn't acknowledge that during this audio, so I don't know if we heard that, but we heard it on here. We did catch a couple EVPs, but it's hard to tell because there are some people outside.
Right. There's a lot of, because being downtown, there's a lot of commotion outside.
Night.
Yeah, it was a Friday night. I mean, it's not near bars or anything, but there's still people going up and down the street.
Stores,
cars driving
restaurants.
by. So on the audio, you hear sometimes people go outside, slamming car doors, talking to each other, yelling at each other. But there was a couple times where you could hear things outside and then be quiet for a while, and then you hear something on the audio, and you can't tell if that's coming from outside
or inside,
or if it's something that was in there with us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything that was like actually saying words. It was more of like just like a noise, like
a person's
like a voice going, huh?
Yeah, so
more like that.
Because we can't tell if it was inside with us or outside, we were scrapping it and just saying, we're not.
Yeah, but we'll mention it.
Yeah, we heard something, Could be outside though, could be a person talking, or it could be in the room next to us. So we did that, and we could hear some noises around the house. it's a very active house. So I think you came up with maybe around 8 spirits.
So there was about 8 spirits.
We kicked one out.
We took pictures of and confirmed with Brandy, and one of the 8 I escorted out, and so there were still 7. So the place is pretty active. Lots of spirits in there.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's not going to hear all the commotion up in the attic anymore, because that one making all the noise is gone. Still plenty of spirits in there though.
Yeah, you feel like you're being watched. And maybe because we're the only ones. So I'm sure, like in the daytime when they have their employees and customers coming in, you know, you don't really notice a lot of stuff. But when it's just the 2 of us in a pitch black house.
And I'm sure that's how it is for him when he's by himself.
Exactly, yeah. I bet you feel that, huh, buddy? You feel those eyes on you. Because that's how I felt the whole night. They were just, eyes just locked on us. And I kind of felt like maybe they were even like following us.
I don't think they leave the rooms very far from where they are.
Like that lady in that room, I think she's like peering out, just watching where we're going.
I think she just stays from the entrance and walks out to the banister, back and forth.
So yeah, I don't think they're like roaming around the house. I think they have like areas that they stay in, kind of got that.
Yeah.
So what I did on that second floor at the very end is we got on that second floor, that open landing, and I just said, "Hey everybody," loud because it's just the 2 of us anyway. So I was kind of screaming this really loud. I said, "Hey, come up here! I want to have a meeting. Everyone, let's have a house meeting." I was just kind of being loud. I didn't know why it provoked me to do this. It just kind of felt like it. I don't think we were renting the voice recorder though for that.
No, we weren't.
But anyway, we ran Echo Box, we ran a Spirit Box. We didn't really hear much coming through there, and I just was trying to, hey, come on, don't be afraid of us. Don't be afraid of us. This is your time to communicate and to talk. If you've got something to say, now's the time. We're just trying to provoke them to come out, but not being jerks about it. Just like, hey, come on over. Just feel free to sit around us. We put all of our devices on the floor, and they all are green. We're like, hey, just touch anything. You can kick it, you can pick it up, you can touch it, you can step on it, and it'll change colors. And we weren't getting much interaction with that, doing that. And we didn't do the voice recorder, so I don't know if we heard any voices come through. But at that point, for me, though, I felt like everything kind of started settling down.
That's exactly when I was feeling that, too. And I'm like, hey, I think we should probably call it a night.
Yeah, because that's when I think they got comfortable with us walking around, maybe. But I kind of felt at that point, and basically what I said is I just had a meeting. At that point, I thought, well, I gotta say something because I'm announcing this meeting. And I just said, hey, listen, we already kicked out one jerk. Don't be a jerk in here. Be cool with the staff. Be cool with the customers that come in. Just don't be a jerk, or we'll have to kick you out too. And I just kind of felt like things calmed down. Like I just kind of felt like the eyes were kind of off. And this is kind of how I envision things of just. Me saying that just reminded me of something. But me saying that, like I kind of had a flash of they were maybe standing around us and they just kind of walked away. Like, okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. But there was a point when we first got in there and I was yelling like, hey, I want to have a meeting. That spirit on that top of the stairs. I just had a flash vision of her with her arms crossed, leaning against the doorway. I just had this flash vision of her, just her arms crossed, leaning against the doorway. Like, what are these guys doing? Anyway, it just flashed in my head, and
I didn't ask Brent what she looked like or anything, but I kind of got the impression that she came from, like like her dress, the way she's dressed. I imagine like, you know what, almost like a corset, but not a corset, the kind that goes all the way up the neck.
Okay.
And like the really
like the blouse that goes all the way up to the
and then like the really wide dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. That's kind of what I imagine. I'm not really wearing a big dress, but kind of just that top part being
the blouse, like
going all the way up the neck.
Interesting.
Thing. And then that's kind of the vision I get of what she looks like.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see that. Like, I was her hair. Did you imagine her hair being kind of up?
Yeah.
That's how I did. Like again, her arms crossed. She's just leaning. Nothing like she's not like being mean or her arms just crossed, just leaning against the door.
She's just a watcher. She just likes watching what's going on.
Shouting about over there.
Yeah, keep it down, you dumbass.
What are you shouting for?
Everyone's sleeping. God. But
I just had that flash vision of that.
But yeah, the place is super haunted. Lots of spirits in there. And when I dropped the keys off to Jake, he was talking about acquiring a few human skulls.
Interesting.
So who knows what that might bring in.
Yeah, because you said be careful they're not having attachments to them. And maybe I want them.
Yeah, so interesting to see what might happen with those. So
yeah, which is a fun twist. So
but yeah, we will keep in contact. We'll probably want to maybe do some more investigations there. Maybe pinpoint some of these spirits, get some more names and some characteristics of who they are.
If Raventhorn is up for it, maybe we can bring some of our medium friends with us.
Yeah, maybe
They
get
can
some,
help maybe
get some
get
names.
kind of pinpoint
Who's who, kind of their stories, and then it'll just be more interesting for for Jake and his employees to be able to like communicate with these spirits by name and say, hey, so and so, depending on what area they're in the house,
and tell the stories to the customers that come in interested about it.
So right on. Thanks a lot, Jake, for letting us go in there.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. That was awesome. That really was awesome of them to let us do that and trust us. I guess it's easy to find us, but still, to trust us was awesome.
That was really cool, letting us have the run of the place for the night. So we'll keep in contact. I'll let you know as soon as this drops, buddy. But thanks for everybody for listening. We're going to call that an episode.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Talk to you next time.
Peace, love, and soul.